All right, folks, I want to clarify something I said earlier. I said this was the deadliest school shooting in U.S. history, and I was wrong about that. Unfortunately, it's not even the deadliest elementary school shooting in the country. That distinction goes to Sandy Hook. This was actually the third worst school shooting in history in the U.S., actually the worst in Texas history. Let's bring in our guest, still with us, criminal defense attorney Silva Megerdician. And Silva, great to see you. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me on the program. I want to get your thoughts on this testimony as it goes on. We understand as attorneys the importance of this testimony. It can be said perhaps it's getting a bit tedious, but explain to us why this is important for the jurors to hear and the effect it may be having on them.
You know, Michael, first of all, thank you so much for having me. You know how much I adore you. You are the best. Look, the testimony as a defense attorney, if I was representing Gonzalez, it's very frustrating, right? Because this is absolutely tragic. It is absolutely horrific. And the pictures alone, what the jury is viewing, is going to be insanely horrific. But that's not because of Mr. Gonzalez. Now, the prosecutors are doing their job. It's so important to show the scene. It's important to show that anybody who took any kind of proactive role in preventing this or even trying to stop it, could have prevented the magnitude of what happened. So I think it's really important for both sides. Defense has a phenomenal argument in close, but the prosecutors are doing what they have to do to set up the scene and show that if just one person had gone outside of themselves to try to interrupt this, the carnage would not have been this grotesque in its effect. So the jury has a really interesting and tough job to do to separate Gonzalez's role versus the grotesque scene. So it's effective and necessary.
You know, that point that you're making about the fact if one person would have acted up, that can apply across the board. We see this in so many situations. But this was a uniformed officer trained somewhat in these types of situations, worked for the Uvalde School District. I would imagine his duty's a little bit different, but that's the issue here. Just how much do we expect from someone in the position of Adrian Gonzalez, whether or not he was standing near him, not near him, or does that make a difference?
Michael, this is the $1 billion question for this jury. I think we can all agree, all of the listeners, you and I, there is an ethical duty, absolutely, when there is a child in danger, or in this case, so many children in danger, to act. But is there a legal duty? And he was one of many. Does he sacrifice himself? And also, Michael, what happens if he tried and in crossfire, his gun had shot innocent children, or he acted without permission from people who are much higher up than he is? There are so many different aspects. Unfortunately, this is not a black and white answer. And the problem is the victims' families, this is the only person that they can blame right now because we all know the shooter's dead. People have to pay, but is this the right person to pay for 29 issues? You know, I have a problem with it, but thank God it's not me. It's this jury that has to decide.
Yeah, and it all boils down to, like you said, you know, part of it is his judgment, right? He decided, at least according to the defense, that action would have put the kids in more danger at that point. And so that makes the point, you know, look, he did make a judgment. Perhaps it wasn't the right one, or you may not think it was the right one, but does it make him criminally liable? That's the big question.
Yes.
The community, ultimately, in the form of a jury, has to decide. All right, Silva, stand by. We'll have more key testimony, of course, in the trial against Adrian Gonzalez coming up. Keep it here on your front row seat to justice.
When you
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. Now back to Texas, folks, for day 4 of the trial of former Uvalde School District officer Adrian Gonzalez. Prosecutors say that he was the first officer to respond to calls about a gunman at Robb Elementary School, but they say that he failed to take action to stop that shooter, and he had a duty to do so. Eventually, hundreds of officers swarmed the school, but the state says they waited 77 minutes before entering the classroom and taking out the gunman. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed that that day, and many, many more were injured. All right, we're still listening to a retired Texas Ranger testifying about gruesome crime scene photos. The jury can see those images, but Court TV, of course, is not airing those photos because, well, they're just a little bit too graphic. Let's go back in.
Tell us what we're looking at here.
I can't see. I'm not sure if it's a bullet fragment or what it is next to number 59.
It's obvious, there's obvious not a share case in that. Is that
Correct. There's nothing.
So exhibit 444, close up of that 59 marker.
That's a bullet fragment with an L scale.
And exhibit 445. What does that show us?
Markers 60 and 50, and from this distance I can't.
So have we now moved into collecting fragments?
Correct.
In general.
In general.
So exhibit 446.
That's a bullet fragment with an L scale.
And before I get away from casings, let me ask you, your job is just to photograph them, is that correct?
Correct.
But were all of those casings gathered
Yes, they were.
and evaluated and analyzed as to which shots belong to the gunman's versus law enforcement?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
But that was not done by you?
No, it's not. No.
Thank you. Exhibit 446. Excuse me, I guess that's 447. What are we looking at
It's
here?
a bullet hole through the window.
And is that the same bullet hole that we saw at the very beginning of your presentation?
Yes.
448. What are we looking at here?
That's a, so you can see the torn rope for the blinds, and you also see a bullet impact
Into the blind of
into
that
the
window?
blind. Yes.
Thank you. 449.
It's
What do we
another
see here?
bullet impact, and you can see where the string was also struck by the bullet as well.
And exhibit 450.
That's another bullet impact
To the blind.
through the blind. Correct.
Exhibit 451.
A scale with the bullet impact.
And 452.
A bullet fragment.
And where is it in relationship to those blinds you've just been describing?
It's at the bottom of the blinds.
453.
More bullet fragments. And
Mark
blood.
is 62.
Marked at 62, yes.
454. Could you describe what we're looking at there?
That was a pool of blood. I see markers 28, 29, 27, and they're moving items out of the way so we can continue our search.
And underneath that sack, does it appear to be another cartridge casing?
Yes, there is.
Stage exhibit 455.
Three spent cartridge casings.
Marked as 63.
Correct.
456.
The spent cartridge casing by number 64.
457.
More of a close-up of a spent shell casing marked 64.
458.
Number 65 in the middle with the bloody tin issue in that picture with blood.
And 459.
A bullet fragment with the L scale.
And that's marked as 65.
That's 65.
460.
Number 66 with a spent cartridge casing.
461.
A close-up of number 66 with a spent shell casing and a L scale.
462.
A spent shell casing marked number 67.
463.
A spent shell casing marked 68.
469. Oh, it's 464. Excuse me, 464. The previous was 463. It's 464.
I see the marker. Until I zoom in, I won't be able to tell what I'm looking at.
Okay. Let's look at the next one, 465.
It's a bullet fragment. Mark 69.
And exhibit 466.
This is a close-up of the bullet fragment.
467. Could you tell us what that is? Above the marker 70.
The spent shell casing in the seat.
And exhibit 468, is that a close-up of that?
Yes, it is.
469.
Overall of the closet, after we started taking everything out, and we left the markers there.
So exhibit 470.
A bullet fragment marked 75.
471.
I see bullet marker 76 and 77.
And exhibit 472, does that close up on that?
Yes, there's a backpack with the water bottle on the side.
And exhibit 473 next to the backpack?
A spent shell casing.
And 474.
Though this testimony might be a bit tedious, it really hammers home just the carnage of that day. The sheer number of casings is just, it's mind-boggling, really. All right, we'll take a break, but as we do, I want to give you an update on one of our upcoming trials here at Court TV. In New Jersey, a jury has been seated in the Mansions murder trial for Paul Carnero. Now, he's been in jail for the past 7 years, accused of killing his brother Keith, his wife Jennifer, and their 2 children, and then setting their mansion on fire. Opening statements there are scheduled to begin on Monday morning. Court TV will bring those to you live. Stay with us here. We'll have more right after the break.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, who would kill a beloved Ohio dentist and his wife? We're diving deeper into the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe with the very latest in this investigation.
Closing Arguments, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
I'm going to ask you a lot of personal questions.
From the crime scene to the courtroom, this is Victim to Verdict.
Everyone has this heightened sense of anticipation.
The guy is not at school because I didn't see in the back. He's got a serious city at the school. Okay, then we do have
Jurors in Texas heard the dramatic 911 call made as the gunman opened fire on students and teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde in 2022. Now, former Uvalde School District police officer Adrian Gonzalez faces multiple counts of child endangerment and abandonment in connection to his response to that shooting. Prosecutors say he was the first officer on the scene, but didn't do enough to stop the threat, resulting in the deaths of 19 students and 2 teachers. All right, let's get back into that courtroom now. That former Texas Ranger still on the stand, describing gruesome photos of the crime scene, including lots of casings all over the place. Court TV is not airing those particular photos, but the jury can see them.
A spent shell casing inside the pocket of the backpack.
Exhibit 475.
Bullet fragments marked as 78.
476.
And overall, where we removed the copy machine, there's marked 79 and 80.
And does it also show 79 and 80?
Yes.
Exhibit 477.
A spent shell casing found behind that marker.
478.
It's a box with a spent shell casing inside it, number 81.
And 479.
Bullet fragments. That's a bullet fragment from 81.
480. Is that just a marker that shows
That's a marker right now.
fragment?
With a fragment problem.
481.
It's another marker with fragments.
And behind number 83, what appears to be, what are those objects behind 83?
It's like an orange, the two orange cups that are like upside down, and there's a bullet impact right there.
Showing you exhibit 482.
That's the bullet impact with the shell casing and bullet fragment.
Exhibit 483.
Another spent shell casing marked 84.
484.
Where I zoomed in on that spent shell casing.
And 485. Excuse me. I'm going to stop at 484. Back up. Turn. You can turn it on. How long did it take for y'all to process this crime scene?
I was there for 3 days. I was sent back to El Paso, and the rest of the guys stayed there for, I'm assuming, another week, is what I think I remember.
And you said something about a Hellfire trigger system?
Yes.
Was it recovered during your photography?
No, it was not.
Did y'all, after taking the photographs, did y'all review the photographs before leaving the crime scene completely?
Yes, and Ranger Brian Burney was reading my photographs, and in my overall photographs is where he saw the Hellfire trigger system, and that's how we knew, or that's how they knew to go to that grid in order to recover it.
And so did y'all go back in to recover the Hellfire trigger system?
Yes.
And in general terms, do you know what a Hellfire trigger system is?
It's an attachment that turns your semi-automatic weapon into a full automatic weapon.
It fires much faster?
Much faster.
With that trigger system on?
Correct.
That's the witness.
I have a bit that I think the break probably did that.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and take our lunch recess. Let's do 1:45 again, 1:45. See you back. Everyone, let the jury get out so they can get their lunch. Would everyone rise for the jury? Ranger, the rules been invoked.
All right, so as they break for lunch, we'll take this quick opportunity to bring back in our guest. Still with us, criminal defense attorney Silver Megadichian. And Silver, I'm a bit torn here, and I want to get your thoughts on this. If you're a defense attorney representing him, you clearly want to keep things out of the emotional realm. You want to keep them regarding timelines, facts of the case, things that are in your favor, at least in your mind, as the defense attorney representing him. But we talked a little earlier that some of this is about his judgment as well at that time on the scene, something that I would think maybe the jury should hear. So would you put him on the stand to talk about that, or does that shift it away from the things that I think are most important for the defense? Again, those timelines and those facts.
You know, Michael, I think it depends on taking the temperature of the room. I think the defense attorney, whenever, I've had a similar situation like this, it's really clear where the jury's emotions are going. I think if the defense attorney believes that they're being a little bit too clouded in a certain direction, look, I don't think it's a bad idea for Mr. Gonzalez not to testify or hear. The thing. I think it's really important to get his state of mind, what he saw. I love what the defense did, though, in their open, when they outlined a very specific timeline and showing exactly where Mr. Gonzalez was, because honestly, it literally can't just be about him. It has to be about those over 70 minutes that no one did anything. So it's really going to come down, I think, to let's see a few more days and whether it'll be necessary for him to testify.
All right, fair enough there. Stand by, Silva. We're a little bit behind, folks, as usual, because we're bringing you some of the more important testimony throughout the day. So they came back from that lunch break, but we're ready to go again after that lunch break. Let's get back into the courtroom for more testimony.